Welcome to Making a Murder, Rubberducky video channel. Well, you guys, we have made it. We are on the very last conclusion of the CASO Investigative Reports, and this has been our daily MaM reading, and this is part 112. Page 1111, type of activity, meeting with defense attorneys. Other, Martha K. Askins, date of birth 03/14/59. Susan L. Hogapane, date of birth 09/20/59. Charles R. Fox, date of birth 01/25/53. Date of activity 10/28/08 at 9 o'clock a.m. Location, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Reporting officer, Deputy Jeremy Hawkins. On 10/28/08 at approximately 9 o'clock a.m., I, Deputy Hawkins of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, met with Martha Askins, Susan Hogapane, and Charles Fox, who are working as the defense team for an appeal by Steven Avery at the Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Attorney Askins, Attorney Hogapane, and Investigator Fox came to the Calumet County Sheriff's Department so they could look at a number of items of evidence pertaining to the State versus Steven Avery case. Investigator Fox, Attorney Askins, and Attorney Hogapane work for the Wisconsin Public Defender's Office in Madison. I was asked by Attorney Hogapane if they could see a sealed DNA packet containing DNA extraction tubes for the State Crime Lab identification system as FK and FL. FK and FL are the bullet fragments that were located in the garage. I located the sealed DNA packet, which was under property tag number 9601. The DNA packet was still sealed by the Wisconsin State Crime Lab and was never opened by any individuals. The DNA packet was brought to the attorneys wearing rubber gloves. I opened the DNA packet using a disposable scalpel. Attorney Askins, page 1112, and Attorney Hogapane viewed the extraction tubes and the control for the extraction tubes for items FL and FK. Investigator Fox photographed the extraction tubes. After the extraction tubes were photographed, they were placed back into the envelope. I did apply evidence tape to the envelope within the presence of the defense attorneys and investigator. My initials and the date I sealed the envelope was placed on the tape and envelope. The envelope was brought back by myself to the secured storage area. The envelope was placed back into the freezer I had originally taken the envelope from. I changed gloves and was asked by Attorney Hogapane to bring out the wooden nightstand type cabinet under property tag number 8080, which was the cabinet where the Toyota key was located. The cabinet was retrieved from the second secure storage area of the evidence room. I brought the wooden nightstand to the attorneys to view. The attorneys viewed the wooden nightstand, and Investigator Fox photographed the nightstand from all angles. After Investigator Fox photographed the nightstand was brought back to the secured storage area by myself. The nightstand was placed back onto the shelf from which the nightstand was taken from. The attorneys did not wish to view any more evidence at that time. Deputy Jeremy Hawkins, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Page 1113. Type of activity, meeting with defense attorneys. Date of activity 12/18/08. Reporting officer, Deputy Jeremy Hawkins. On 12/18/08, approximately 9 o'clock a.m., I, Deputy Hawkins of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, met with Attorney Martha Askins and Investigator Charles Fox so they could package the DNA extraction tubes located in property tag number 9601. I did retrieve the DNA packet, which contained the extraction tubes for the State Crime Lab identification system FK and FL, and also the controls for FK and FL. The envelope was given to Investigator Fox and Attorney Askins and was packaged by Attorney Askins in my presence. The DNA packet was then signed over to Investigator Fox for mailing purposes for independent testing by the defense. Deputy Jeremy Hawkins, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Page 1114. Type of activity, return items. Date of activity 09/2011. Reporting officer, Deputy Jeremy Hawkins. On 09/2011 at approximately 9 o'clock a.m., I, Deputy Jeremy Hawkins of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, along with Sergeant Investigator Mark Wiegert of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, Attorney Thomas Fallon, and Attorney Norm Gahn, removed from evidence all property tag numbers that contained human bones. Attorney Gahn and Attorney Fallon viewed the items under the property tags and, along with Dr. Leslie Eisenberg's report, determined which bones could be returned to the Halbach family. Ledger number 05187, property tag number 8318, contents sifted from burn pit near Steven Avery's residence/garage. The human bones from property tag number 8318 were removed from the container and photographed. Ledger number 05199, property tag number 7924, unidentified material suspected to be bone, and property tag number 7925, unidentified material charred, were removed and photographed. Ledger number 05201, property tag number 7936, unknown material suspected to be bone. Property tag number 7943, bone fragments, and property tag number 7944, bone fragments, were removed from storage and photographed. Ledger number 05208, property tag number 8675. The human bones were separated from the rest of the contents and photographed. Ledger number 05209, property tag number 7964. Burnt bone pieces from barrel 2. The human bones were removed from the rest of the contents and photographed. Ledger number 05255, property tag number 6200. Teeth, property tag number 6197. Suspected bone fragments and separated human bone was removed. Property tag number 8118. Suspected bone fragments, the separated human bones were removed. Property tag number 6200, 6197, and 8113 were photographed. Ledger number 05257, property tag number 8148. Suspected bone fragments, the separated human bone fragments were removed and photographed. Property tag number 8150, teeth, was removed and photographed. Property tag number 8140, bone fragments, the separated human bone fragments were removed and photographed. Page 1115. Ledger number 0686, property tag number 7411. Possible bone fragments, property tag number 7412. Possible bone fragments, property tag number 7414. Bone fragments, property tag number 7416. Suspected human bone fragments, property tag number 7419. Suspected human bone fragments, property tag number 7420. Suspected charred item resembling bone. Property tag number 7421, unidentified suspected bone. Property tag number 7426, bone fragments. Property tag number 7434, bone fragments, were all removed and photographed. After all bone fragments that were determined to be able to be returned to the Halbachs by Attorney Fallon and Attorney Gahn were completed, the items were transferred to Whiting Funeral Home in the presence of Sergeant Investigator Mark Wiegert and myself. The packaging for all items returned was retained by the Calumet County Sheriff's Department in secure storage. Deputy Jeremy Hawkins, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Page 1116. Type of activity, telephone conversation with Gerald Pogel. Date of activity 02/14/12. Reporting officer Sergeant Investigator Mark Wiegert. On 02/14/12, I, Sergeant Investigator Mark Wiegert, of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, made contact with former Sheriff Gerald Pogel at the request of District Attorney Geraldine Dietz. Former Sheriff Pogel advised me that he had spoken with Oscar Bielik in regards to the juror issue. Oscar Bielik was serving as a special deputy bailiff for the Avery jury. That was the end of my conversation with former Sheriff Pogel. Sergeant Investigator Mark Wiegert, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. Page 1117. Type of activity, transfer of evidence, date of activity 12/06/16. Reporting officer Lieutenant Mark Wiegert. On 12/06/16, I, Lieutenant Mark Wiegert of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department, along with evidence custodian Amanda Bunnell of the Calumet County Sheriff's Department went to the Manitowoc County Clerk of Court's office located at 1010 South 8th Street, Suite 105, Manitowoc, Wisconsin, to take custody of the following exhibit items. Exhibit number 333, property tag number 9571 A6, bloodstain cutting from RAV4 driver's seat. Evidence number 336, property tag number 9569 A8, swab of ignition area RAV4. Exhibit number 331, property tag number 9570 A9, bloodstain cutting from passenger seat. Exhibit number 332, property tag number 9572 A10, swab of bloodstain from CD case. Exhibit number 334, property tag number 9574 A12, swab of bloodstain rear passenger door. Exhibit number 335, property tag number 9568 A7, blood flakes on floor by center console. Exhibit number 205, property tag number 9188 ID swab from hood latch. Exhibit number 211, property tag number 7620 C, Toyota RAV4 key. These items were turned over to evidence custodian Amanda Bunnell by Clerk Lynn Zygmunt on 12/06/16 at 9:02 a.m. At 10:02 a.m., evidence custodian Bunnell and I returned to the Calumet County Sheriff's Department and removed from evidence storage exhibit number 478, property tag number 9803, blood vial, 1996 sample of defendant Steve Avery's blood. Evidence custodian Bunnell and I then went en route to the Wisconsin State Crime Laboratory located at 4626 University Avenue, Madison, Wisconsin, at which time the above items were released to Elizabeth Fontaine of the Wisconsin State Crime Laboratory at 12:41 p.m. for independent scientific testing that had been ordered to be conducted. Investigation continues. Lieutenant Mark Wiegert, Calumet County Sheriff's Department. All right, you guys, let's start our very last review. Page 1113. Wait a minute. Did we? No. Let's back up. Let's go to 1111, meeting with the defense attorneys. Now we've got Martha Askins, Hogapane, and Fox the investigator, and they're asking to look at the DNA extraction tubes from items FL and FK, and Fox photographs them. Now let's look at the date. So when are we doing this? We're doing this in 08, October 28, 08. So this would be 3 years, almost to the date, that Teresa Halbach disappeared. And they state that the attorneys viewed also the wooden nightstand and photographed it from all angles. Okay, you guys, why are they not asking to see that RAV? Why are they not asking to see the bones? Why are they not asking to see more of this evidence? My God, can you imagine if one of us had an open choice as to which parts of the evidence we wanted to see on the Avery case on shelves? The list would be mile long. They would have to put away a whole week. I would camp out in the evidence room. I'm not kidding. So why are they doing this? According to this, the DNA packet was then signed over to Investigator Fox for mailing purposes for independent testing by the defense. So on 1114, we've got a big deal happen. This is the big deal. Now, Zellner has talked about this. We actually have motion from this page. So what this is it's dated September 20th, 2011. What is 09/20/2011 to us in the Avery case? It's the date that Jeremy Hawkins, along with Sergeant Investigator Mark Wiegert, Attorney Tom Fallon, and Norm Gahn, all removed the evidence tag illegally from the property evidence tags on the human bones using Dr. Leslie, I'm going to leave that in there, Leslie Leisenberg's report. I meant Eisenberg's. They're using her report to determine which bones are human, and then they are removing the property tag from the bone, which is a destruction of evidence right in itself. And what are they doing with all of this? So they're doing this to many, many items. They're going to give it back to the Hall box, which you know, and I know if you're in this case for any length of time, that you must, it is required by 92606 that, or 97506, I can't remember which, I think it's 97506. It is required that statute states that if the person is incarcerated or detained, and the evidence is the reason for this incarceration, the evidence must be maintained. The biological evidence must be maintained and cannot be given away. But they do it anyway. What are the stipulations? You have to have that person's approval. You have to get their attorneys to approve. You have to have this known that you'd like to do this and have the blessing of the defense of the individual that's incarcerated. Did the state of Wisconsin do that? No. They broke their own statute. Who helped create that law? The very same attorney, Norm Gahn, that is now turning around knowingly handing away evidence. And what did they say? They stated that they were giving this evidence back to the Hall box in respect of the family. Well, number one, that implies that you're giving away back to the family their daughter's bones, right? What property tag do we have? 8675. What is that? That is a pelvic bone that did not. That is human bones. The human bones were separated from the rest of the contents and photographed. 8675. That didn't come from Steve Avery's. Are you following me? If you haven't followed me anywhere else in this case, follow me. Those human bones were not found at the Avery property. 8675 was not. And how in the world do we get to this point? 6200, look down here. Teeth. You heard me right, not tooth. That's all we have in this case is partial tooth that's super glued together. But in this case, in property tag 6200, we have teeth. Let's look again. Property tag 8150, what do we have? Teeth. Now here's the thing. Even if we only had 6200, teeth implies more than one. Tooth is one. Teeth implies more than one. Now that implies we have two teeth at least, minimum. Property tag 8150, teeth. Again, implies more than one. So we're looking at a minimal 4 teeth. Why have we not seen these teeth? That's a pretty specific item that could have been used for identifications rather than confidential agreements, gentlemen agreements between the prosecution and the defense. They're not going to question or need any paperwork to tell us whose pap smear that was. We're just going to take it on the prosecution's word alone that this is the victim's DNA. So now, after all the bone fragments that were determined to be able to be returned to the Hall box by Attorney Fallon and Attorney Gahn were completed, the items were transferred to Whiting Funeral Home in the presence of Sergeant Investigator Mark Wiegert and Jeremy Hawkins. Really? Because this is why this is so important, you guys. This is why we see this. This is received January 24th, 2019. And this is the defendant appellate's motion to stay appeal and remand the cause for proceedings on claims for relief in connection with the state's violation of Wisconsin Statute 968.205. Why is that? Listen, undersigned counsel has uncovered that the state violation of Wisconsin Statute 968, where it failed to, number one, preserve certain suspect human bone fragments and evidence. Number 2, notify Mr. Avery and his attorneys on record of its intent to destroy such evidence. The state's conviction of Mr. Avery was based most exclusively on forensic evidence. At trial, the state told the jury that all the incriminating forensic evidence was in close proximity to Mr. Avery's residence. Prosecutor Kenneth Kratz, in his opening statement, relied upon several computer-generated scene models which allegedly illustrated the location of incriminating forensic evidence and its links to Mr. Avery. Mr. Kratz claimed that Ms. Halbach was murdered and mutilated in Mr. Avery's garage and burn pit. Mr. Avery attempted to link the following forensic evidence to Mr. Avery because of its proximity to his residence: the .22 Marlin gun, the location of Ms. Halbach's RAV4, Ms. Halbach's electronic devices, the RAV4 license plate, the RAV4 key. And Mr. Kratz claimed that the proximity of Mr. Avery's burn pit to his residence was particularly incriminating. But the bones weren't found there. The pelvic bone that was, quote and unquote, suspected human by Dr. Eisenberg, who just got done working the Christine Rudy case, where this expert anthropologist, Miss Leslie Eisenberg, identified the bones of a baby bird to be that of the fetus that she claimed had been cut away from the mother. Yeah, lo and behold, 3 months later, thaw happens, spring's here, they find the mother's torso, fetus intact. That's your expert for the prosecution side? And she will only say suspected human. I wonder if it's because now she doesn't trust herself to know what she's doing. This case frustrates me very, very much. So let's jump back over to our read and continue on. We're on page 1116, which we all know, for the sake of clarifying, was thought to be the very last page of this entire document. But there was a suppressed sheet that was never given to Mrs. Zellner. So let's read the known last page, 1116 here. Former Sheriff Pogel advised me that he had spoken with Oscar Bielik in regards to the juror issue. What juror issue? Oh, let's talk. Was it about the juror issue where they had Mark Wiegert allowed his partner's husband to deliver pizza to a sequestered jury and stay from 9 till after midnight behind closed doors? Or was it the juror that was told that a severe family member had been severely injured and got pulled away at the last minute when he was the one saying he was going to say that Stephen was innocent? Or was there another incident that you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the deputy that volunteered onto the Manitowoc Police Department was also in the jury? Or do you want to talk about, come on, you guys. Really? Just spit it out. And that's it. That's what we were led to believe, right? But Jinx and TikTok, they went ahead and they put out a Reddit. And look what we've got. Page 1117. And we have the transfer of evidence. What year is this? December 6, 2016. Yeah, that's why nobody got it. They waited till 2016. Pay close attention to this. They are handing off the blood stain from the driver's seat, the swab from the ignition area on the RAV4, the blood stain off the passenger seat, the swab off the blood stain of the CD case, the swab of the blood stain on the rear passenger door, blood flakes on the floor near the center console, and the ID swab for the hood latch, as well as a swab or something, the Toyota RAV4 key. Who's handing it off? You got it. Manitowoc County. I'm going to ask for the last time doing the CASO read. Why, when Manitowoc County is being sued for $36 million and Calumet is legally responsible for this investigation, why on earth would the conflict of interest been ignored and allowed Manitowoc County to be maintaining this evidence. And it's being handed over to Amanda Butnell, who works for Calumet. They remove the blood vial, Steven Avery's blood vial from the 1996 Exhibit 478. They remove it, and they take the rest of the evidence to the laboratory at the Wisconsin State Crime Lab. Yep, in 2016. Well, let's think about this, you guys. What date is important about December 06, 2016? We go 8 years with no reports, but all of a sudden, all the DNA evidence basically in the case gets swiped up in December of 2006. Oh, wait a minute. I know what we were doing. What were we doing, you guys? We were watching MaM. That's right. We were watching MaM because that's when it came out. Enough said. They knew the world was going to start looking, and that scared the hell out of them. And it should, because we're not done looking. We're done with the CASO reads, you guys. Thank you. It's been wonderful. Well, you guys, and there you have it. The very last minute, MaM is coming out. They take all of Steven Avery's DNA evidence except the blood vial, and they send it off to the state crime lab. They give away the bones, they say, in 2011. But don't you gotta wonder, really think about it, if they're willing to give the bones away without asking permission, why does the death certificate, Teresa Halbach's death certificate, actually have 11/10/05 on it that the Whiting Funeral Home was receiving? What were they receiving? Did the state just actually give it back to the family back then and just update the records later with the falsified date? Did these bones actually even get sent to the proper places? Or did they do some swapping in the bones? I mean, they swap everything in this case, right? We're going to have to just do like an all-around talk about everything we just read. 1,117 pages of their lies and their tampering and everything that they've done in this case. This is what I'm going to leave us with. Jane Couché himself, when they said, how can you doubt the DNA evidence that exonerated Steven Avery? And he said, because DNA can be tampered with. It can be moved. It could be falsified and so forth. He wouldn't believe that DNA was that reliable. And I think we've learned that if you have the wrong person doing the lab reports and stuff, it's not a big, long scientific word that DNA stands for. It's do not assume. Do not assume that it's the Titanic of evidence. It's sinkable. Oh yeah, it's sinkable. And so are those corrupt individuals that have done this. All right, you guys. That's our last read on this. And yeah, you hit me up with some posts. I want to see some serious ideas of what you would like read next. I know Crockett already has the first input because they were the first person to choose to email me their suggestion. And then they put a great reason supporting what they would like to hear. But that's going to be a surprise for you all. So we have amazing things coming up. And I just want to say, hey, a whole summer together meant the world to me. And the fact that you guys stayed with me meant the world. And you stayed with Steven. And you stayed with Brendan. And we're still here. Take care, everybody. Much love. If you didn't do the crime, you shouldn't do the time. Thank you all very much, and much love to everyone.